During the UFC 311 broadcast, UFC 313 got announced. Alex Pereira will be taking on Magomed Ankalaev. So you can't say there's any ducking anymore by either of these guys. You could say Ankalaev was turning down the fights, UFC 303 or 300 or whatever, or you could say Alex Pereira was ducking. Not anymore. These guys want to fight each other. It's happening March 8th, UFC 313. And then on the co-main event, Justin Gaethje versus Dan Hooker is announced. So I think they're redeeming themselves from that shitty 312 card. UFC 312 is just an abomination, and I think that they're trying to probably redeem themselves for that shit ass card, because UFC 313 right now, I know only the co-main event and main event got announced, but so far, just those two fights of themselves, insane. I'm so excited for both those fights. Alex Pereira finally taking on Ankalaev after so long. I thought we were going to wait so long, dude. I thought Alex Pereira was playing those games, but he's not. He's taking the Ankalaev fight. That's a fight everyone wants to see. And I'm going to give my early predictions on this fight, as well as the Dan Hooker versus Justin Gaethje. Starting with Justin Gaethje versus Dan Hooker, it's a 5-round fight. I'm going to have to pick Dan Hooker. I just think that Justin Gaethje, especially after that Max Holloway knockout, come on, dude. When you go through damage like that and wars time after time, Justin Gaethje's getting up there. I know Dan Hooker's been through wars too. He's fought Dustin Poirier. That's a crazy fight. Back and forth. Tons of damage on there. But, Dan Hooker seems to be making a resurgence. I could be on the hype train. I know. I get it. He's off that win against Gamrot or whatever. But I think that the style of Dan Hooker is actually going to be a problem for Justin Gaethje. Dan Hooker is a long, stringy guy. I think he's bigger, taller, longer than Justin Gaethje, a better reach. His striking, I think, is honestly probably better than Gaethje. This is a hot take, but Gaethje kind of has overrated striking, okay? Like in terms of boxing, he's more of a brawler, dude. Like you don't see Justin Gaethje just like popping the jab and moving back and forth, landing shots, slipping shots. You don't see that with Justin Gaethje. You see wild brawls like the Michael Chandler fight. That's kind of his nature. He throws big, heavy hooks. He eats a lot of punches. He takes a lot of punches. He's not very defensive. I think Dan Hooker is going to out-grit Justin Gaethje, which is a hard thing to do, but I think he will do it. And I don't see this fight going 5 rounds. I don't think any of these guys are going to last in 5 rounds the way they fight. This could be a fight of the year contender. It really could be. So my prediction for how this fight goes is I think Dan Hooker, they're both going to take damage. They both eat shots. I think Dan Hooker is going to be able to avoid getting hit more than Justin Gaethje, and I think he's going to land on Gaethje over time. I think maybe 4th round, 3rd round. I think Justin Gaethje's you're going to see how much he's taking damage and how much his chin is kind of getting a little bit washed. So I'm going to be picking Dan Hooker to TKO Justin Gaethje in the 4th round. That's my final prediction, or my early prediction for this fight card. It could change, but right now that's how I feel about this. That's my first conclusion I made about this fight after I heard it. But on to Alex Pereira versus Ankalaev. This fight probably is like my 3rd most anticipated fight like that you could make right now. I think number 1, it's Ilia Topuria versus Islam Makhachev. Number 2, Jones versus Aspinall. Number 3 is Ankalaev versus Pereira. I know a lot of people say this fight's going to be boring, but I don't think so, dude. I think Ankalaev is going to come out there to strike with Alex. Like, let's not forget, Ankalaev is a striker. He's not a grappler. Yes, he trains grappling. Obviously, everybody does. It's mixed martial arts. And especially, I think people are like, I get Alex Pereira's grappling sucks, but he's still training grappling. Like he trains with Glover. He's not just like some bum off the street. Let's not act like Ankalaev can just like take Alex down 1st round and just win the entire fight. That's not how it is. I think Ankalaev's going to go out there. He's going to try to strike with Alex Pereira. And I just can't pick anyone to beat Alex Pereira in the striking. I've played this game before. I've played these games before, man. I predicted Yuri Prochazka, man. I bet on him. I literally bet money on Yuri Prochazka to win in their first fight. And it's just like, you cannot bet against a striking battle with Alex Pereira. You just can't. I don't care how good Ankalaev looks, man. Ankalaev, I'm sure he has great fundamentals. I'm sure he has great boxing. I'm sure he has, I've seen his power. Alex Pereira is just a next level when it comes to these strikers. The only dude I would say that would beat Pereira in a striking battle is Tom Aspinall, just because of the physicality, the quickness, the explosiveness. Ankalaev, I just don't see him doing that. I don't think Ankalaev's as big as Pereira. I don't think he's as powerful. I don't think he's even as quick as Pereira. I think it's going to be a striking battle for the most part. I think Ankalaev, he has a ton of vulnerabilities. He has, the low kick. We've seen the low kick. I'm sure he's tried to like train and defend it more since that Jan fight. But let's look at that Jan fight, dude. He got his leg eaten up And then he ended up resorting to grappling. So if Ankalaev does get his ass beat on the feet, which I think he will, but he doesn't get knocked out, then I think he's going to shoot takedowns. But by then, I think it'll be too late. If Alex Pereira gets Ankalaev's leg that chewed up, Ankalaev's not winning the fight. You know, Alex Pereira is going to capitalize on that. So the only thing that I would give for Ankalaev in this fight is the grappling that he can resort to. He has, you know, something that he can rely and fall back on. But I would also say that Ankalaev's a southpaw, and Alex Pereira, I think, has more trouble with southpaws. You know, Adesanya fought southpaw a lot. I mean, I guess Jamal Hill fought southpaw, and we all saw how that went. But he's a higher level southpaw. And Alex Pereira obviously doesn't fight as many southpaws as he does orthodoxes. So I think that's going to be a little bit of a problem for Alex Pereira. Other than that, you know, I think on the feet, Pereira could get caught. It's a fight, but I'm not going to bet against Pereira, dude. After everything he's done with his knockouts, with his, like, this dude is so used to striking. He's been doing this for years, not only in the UFC, but in Glory Kickboxing. I'm picking Alex Pereira to win by knockout against Ankalaev, and I'm gonna say the third round, because I don't think he's just gonna jump in there and get a KO like he did against Jamal Hill. Ankalaev's a much better striker than Jamal Hill, in my opinion. I think it's gonna be more like the Khalil Roundtree, where Alex Pereira is kind of jumping back a little bit, kind of worried about the strikes of Ankalaev, because I think Ankalaev's gonna land on Alex Pereira. I don't think it's just gonna be some clean washout. I think they're going to go back and forth a little bit, like that Khalil Roundtree fight. And then eventually, I think Alex Pereira is going to start landing the damaging shots, the low kicks. He's going to mix it up. He's going to go to the body. He's going to go to the head. And I think Ankalaev is just not the same level as Pereira, bro. That's the way I see it, you know? And then by then, once he knows he's getting his ass beat in the striking, he could go to the grappling, but I don't think that's going to win him the fight. I don't think he's going to choke Pereira out on the ground. I mean, we saw the Jan fight. He didn't really do much on the ground. He kind of just lays there. So, I mean, it's light heavyweight too. Later rounds, he's not going to have the energy to probably do shit like that. My early prediction for this fight is going to be Alex Pereira by third round KO. That's my prediction. I could see this going later. This could honestly go to decision. Pereira's got cardio. Ankalaev, I'm sure, has cardio. Ankalaev's been 5 rounds. Pereira's been basically 5 rounds. I mean, with the Adesanya fight, you got to finish in like the last minute. So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if this fight actually went to the decision, but I just think Pereira is going to be able to get that KO and land it on Ankalaev. I don't think Ankalaev's going to be running around the whole time. I don't think it's going to be hard for, you know, he's not as elusive as Adesanya. And that's why I think Alex Pereira struggled getting the finish on Adesanya, because Adesanya is a hard dude to finish, but a more plotty light heavyweight like Ankalaev, I think Pereira is going to be able to catch him. Those are my predictions for these fights. Let me know what you guys think. I am hella excited for this card. Probably more than anything that's been announced so far. Any fight that's been announced. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Who's going to win this fight? Alex Pereira or Ankalaev? And let me know about the co-main event. That one's pretty interesting too. Leave your thoughts in the comments below. If you guys like this video, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next one.